Hey folks, thanks for coming back. Thanks for tuning in. I've got something cool, special for you today. I've actually managed to finish up my software that reads in the image off the hard drive. So it takes a PNG and then it goes pixel by pixel, line by line, and reads in and creates each of these nodes according to the color pixels in the image. So something like this 25 by 25 image in GIMP becomes a 25 by 25 ship. So that's what that is. And what I've done actually is I've been tuning it up a bit, and I also just resized it to be 50 by 50 just to see what it actually looks like when it gets hit, how it runs, all the good stuff. So we got around 60 FPS, which is freaking cool. And it looks like when it gets hit by a slow bullet, it actually only chips off a bit of the outer ceramics shell, the inner area, like the capsule where the person would be, or maybe a pilot up here. Seems to be fine. The engine completely fine, but just the outer area. So what I can do is I'll run that a couple times just to show off how good it looks nowadays. See, we got some inner spalling actually, which is interesting, but the capsule is largely protected from the larger, faster impact. So that's very interesting. Let's run that again. And then of course we'll test it with just bullet sizes that would not be able to be protected from. So we'll scroll back down to where I set up the bullet sizes. Right now it's just a 1 by 1 node. Let's start by making it just a rod of death, basically. Like we can go a 2 by 2. Yeah, that's the original one running still. It still runs at 60 FPS. This new one also appears to be running at... Ooh. Good frame rate though, honestly. Considering that how big of a system and setup this is, but maybe we'll look into scaling it down. Geez, it looks like it really destroyed it a lot. So we'll have to look into figuring out how to calculate the average location of it. So let's run that again just to see. This is way larger than I'm expecting it to be able to handle anyways. So it's kind of interesting, but completely demolishes everything. So let's just make it a really long, thin bullet and see how that goes. Boom. Yeah, pretty much goes right through it. Destroys the main capsule. Well, if that link holds there, maybe we would say it would keep cabin pressure, but but not much else. It'd be very difficult to survive that. I mean, all the ceramic off the walls just shatters everywhere. Actually, now that we've seen it kind of settle down, it does look like a person would have survived that impact. Potentially barely, but you know, I'll have to look at the video to see for sure. Let's make it a 1 by 1 again, because I kind of like that. It looked like it was just shattering the ceramic, not doing a large effect on the outside too much. Really does love sending that one piece diagonally through, but I mean, for the amount of the impact and destruction inside there, you'd be very happy to survive that more or less intact. I like the engine design here, it looks cool. What I want to be able to do is to be able to zoom in and out of the view, so that this would be like the original resolution, but when you zoom out, you'd be more of a like I've said before, in asteroids kind of a view where you'd see a small triangle on your screen, which is a ship, but I want the physical simulation to be still as complex, or yeah, we're going to keep it about as complex as this is right now. I don't want to make it too complex. I do like that I kind of scaled this up without changing the pixels, so it kind of creates an interesting effect of seeing the original pixels, which have now become So it's doubled in size. So each pixel before has now become 4 pixels. So what this was a 2 by 2 pixel of white, so that becomes ceramic. And one of these, which was a 1 by 3-ish, is now a 2 by 6 jutting outwards. So I do like this style where it almost is still almost pixelated, but it looks like it also has some interesting like detail to it. So let's run this a couple more times. I'm only having it run the bullet once right now because I was having some issues with the just managing the I was having issues managing the stuff. I forget where I was going with that. But it looks very cool. I'm happy with how far it's come. I know it's a little uneven still. I didn't fix that in future episodes. I'll fix this and show you guys. But that's all for now. I mean, I'm still tuning this, and it looks like since it scales well, that I might be able to maybe even double test it or figure out some way for this to be a little bit different than just this small one, because the small one is cute, but it looks a little boring. So I might just look into modifying this. So that might not be a correct node count here. So let me scroll back up. I was testing just to see the materials. So it's saying 1656 nodes right now. That does sound... That sounds accurate, I think. I hope so, at least. But, yeah, I think that's all for now. I'm gonna pause the recording. Well, I'll run another... I'll try a 5 by 5 bullet. Let's see how that goes. Should just absolutely demolish. Yeah. Still working on tuning everything, because this doesn't quite act like lead as of now. It's still very floaty. It's almost like a cobweb still. Yep, you wouldn't have had cabin pressure there. But let's try maybe a 2 by 2 bullet and see how that goes. It also depends all on the exact Y location and the speed, because this one looks like it'll be pretty easy to survive. But I do have some tuning to do where the push out was actually not strong enough, but now that it is, it sometimes just keeps the oscillation going in like a local spot, like a small little spot. But it seems to be pretty good right now, especially with the combination of the lead and the ceramic. So I'm very happy with the optimizations here, but I want to be able to run like large, strong asteroids that you'd be able to bump up and smash up into and relatively survive if you're careful enough. But so that's all for now. I'm going to work on the propulsion system soon, also just making the ship more uniform and make sure it's evenly mirrored, so the right side here, it's higher than the left side, doesn't end in the same way. So I'll fix that up, and then I'll get back to you guys in a couple more days. But thank you again for watching. Hope you have a good night. Bye bye.